Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and this is Beth's Bookish Reviews, and I'm here today to present to you my favorite time of the year. It's my readathon with my friend Chris, Eyre of September. This is the third year? Fourth year. Third year. I don't know. I can't remember. Isn't that bad? It's so bad. I can't even remember how many years we've been doing this. Anyway, this is September dedicated to Jane Eyre and Charlotte Bronte and just our love for this book. And she's such a wonderful friend that she agreed back when I started it that she would help me, and she has been a dear, dear friend and has done so. And every year she's just read books with me, and so I'm here, and she's going to also put out a video, and she'll be listing her recommendations or what she's reading. I'll have the graphic on screen. I'll try to put it up as I'm going through it, and I'll put each piece as I'm going through of what I'm showing, what I'm referring to. So here's the graphic. It has, the regular graphic has 9 squares, but if you're trying for the bonus 3, it is 12 squares. So you're going to see the 12 squares because that is what I'm going to be trying for. But just know that the first 9, it looked like I had like 8, but 9, the first 9 are the ones that are just the regular ones. So the first prompt says, read Jane Eyre. If that's all you want to do, that is wonderful, because this is a book that is just wonderful. This book is by Charlotte Bronte. If you don't know, have you been living under a rock? If you don't know what Jane Eyre is, anyway, Jane Eyre is about Jane Eyre, and she becomes a governess. So all the prompts fit this book, and if that's all you read, you can count yourself done and dusted. So but anyway, this is the first prompt, and there are several copies of this book. I purchased a new one this year. Sometimes I purchase one every year. I don't think I purchased a new one last year, but I did purchase one this year. And yes, I do know that earlier this year there was a readathon going on, and they were reading Jane Eyre. And I was going to try to read it with them, but I just felt like I was reading it out of season, because I knew that in September is when I read it. So yes, it is dearly loved by many people. I came into Jane Eyre back in the 10th grade when I first read it, and fell in love with the characters in this book, specifically Jane Eyre herself. Jane is wonderful. She's just a very upstanding, beautiful soul that I love her so much. Okay, so enough about Jane. I'll talk more about her later. So the next prompt is, read a book with a wicked stepmother vibe. This can be any kind of wicked step-parent, step dad, stepmother, step uncle, step aunt, step guardian of any type. I'm going with one that I do not own. In fact, a lot of my books this year are books I do not own. Sorry, my husband come in and then he went back out, and so the dogs are making him aware of that. So I've already checked this out of the library app, and I put it up here for you. It is The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by Joan Aiken. I am not sure what this is. I do know it is a clean read, and it has a step guardian of some sort. And so that is what I will be reading for that prompt. The next prompt is read a book set in a boarding school. Well, I have out here, I'm rereading all the Hercule Poirot books by Agatha Christie. So I have out here to read Cat Among the Pigeons, but I have two possible maybes, and I'll put them down here. If I can get them on Audible, or, well, I'm hoping I can get them on Libby, if I can check them out on as a audiobook. So Down a Dark Hall by Lois Duncan, and The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. So I'd like to listen to those as well. So now that doesn't mean I won't read all three of them. I may, but they all sounded good. I've read Cat Among the Pigeons. So anyway, so who knows what I'll put for that prompt. Mental health representation, I have quite a few for this one. The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese, and The Happy Life of Isadora Bentley by Courtney Walsh. The Prayer Box by Lisa Wingate. I own The Love Haters by Catherine Center that I would like to finally get to. And I also own The Maid by Nita Prose. I didn't pull it out. But I'm really thinking that I might check out The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese and The Happy Life of Isadora Bentley by Courtney Walsh. One of those. But I would really like to get to The Love Haters by Catherine Center and decide if I'm keeping this one or if it's going in the giveaway pile. I'm pretty sure it's a clean read. Again, I don't know what these books are about. I did go on ChatGPT and get these recommendations, and I always ask him for clean reads. So, all right. The next book, that was mental health representation. The next is read from a book of poetry. This one is not a read the book of poetry. You can just read from a book of poetry. You can read some poetry. You can read offline. You can read some poetry. You can read, they have those anthologies, those big college books that have the poetry in it. I'm going to be reading some Christina Rossetti poetry because I'm going to work this into my DIY literature degree, which will be a video you've either seen or you can watch it. So that is going to be my poetry. All right, so the next prompt is read a book set on a country estate. I have this book, but I do not know where I put it. And this is Cover Her Face by P.D. James. Again, I have several choices here. If this one doesn't show up, there is The Hollow by Agatha Christie, and I do have The Secret of Chimneys by Agatha Christie. There's The Mystery of Underwood House by Clara Benson, and The Belting Inheritance by Julia Simons. I'm gonna try to get pictures of all these, and they should be popping up when I say them. All right. So the next prompt, this is prompt number 7. Read a book with a nanny or a governess. So the book that I'm heavily leaning toward is The Governess of Penwith Hall by Sarah E. Ladd. I have read some of these other books. I've read all of them but one and the one that I'm thinking about reading. So I haven't read The Governess of Penwith Hall. I've read The Turn of the Screw by Henry James multiple times. I love that book. Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. I love that book too. And The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I've read that one and it's good. But I have not read The Nanny by Jilly McMillan. So I may read that one too. All right. The next prompt, prompt 8, is read a book about best friends, or you can just read a romance. I'm going to read a book about best friends. So that's what I'm going to give you. My book and then other choices. So the book I am going to read is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This is the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club. There's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp by Sarah Brunsvold. The 1 in a Million Boy by Monica Wood. And The Mostly True Story of Tanner and Louise by Colleen Oakley. Okay. So, the next prompt is, this is the last of the main prompts. Read a book with red on the cover or the word red in the title. So I will be reading a book I've waited all year, over a year for, The Unknown by Riley Sager. Of course, you can see the red on the cover. He's a little dusty. He's been sitting on my table by my bed, waiting patiently for me to get to him. And school just started, so he's had to wait a little bit more patiently than I would have liked him to. So this is what I'm going to be reading. Yes. So I'm very excited to get to that one. So other options that I have are The Red House Mystery by A.A. Milne. A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I've read that one. It's a good one. The Red Signal by Agatha Christie. I have not read that one. The Red Notebook by Antoine Lorraine? Question mark? I'm not sure. Okay. All right. So here are the 3 prompts that are bonus prompts. Now, you don't win extra points, or this is not a giveaway or anything like that. So, bonus prompt number 1 is read a Victorian novel. So, my Victorian novel that I'm going to read is Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. I'm reading this one because I've already started it. Now, I've only gotten a few chapters in, but I'm calling it good. Others that you might read are Dr. Thorne. You could read The Warden, which is the first one in the Barchester series. Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell is really good. North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell is really good. Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell. Or The Woodlanders by Thomas Hardy. Those are all books that I have on my reading list. All right. The next prompt is read a biography of Charlotte Bronte. So I read, the only biography of Charlotte Bronte I've read is the one by Elizabeth Gaskell, which is The Life of Charlotte Bronte. It is superb. It was my first Elizabeth Gaskell that I've ever read, and it was amazing. And I would suggest it if you want to read a good biography. It is, oh, it's so good. I will be reading Charlotte Bronte, A Fiery Heart by Claire Harmon, if I can get it on audio, because I don't have it. There's also Charlotte Bronte, A Passionate Life by Lyndall Gordon, Charlotte Bronte by Rebecca Fraser, and The Brontes by Juliet Barker. the Brontes by Juliet Barker is 1,000 pages. I do have it, but I am not reading it right now. All right, so the last bonus prompt, the last prompt on the page is read a novel by Elizabeth Gaskell. I know I had, oh, right here. I had to find mine. And so my pick for this one is Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is part of my DIY literature degree, so I'm very anxious to get to this one because, as I've said, I really like her writing. There are also Cranford, Wives and Daughters, so Sylvia's Lovers, Cousin Phyllis, North and South, Mary Barton, and the ones I haven't read, I'm sure they are excellent. So that is all of the Eyre of September prompts, and that is all that I will be putting on there. I have 2 other books I will be putting on my TBR, and they are for the Books Love Jenna Book Club reading. The first one is The Invisible Hour by Alice Hoffman, and The Sinners All Bow by Kate Winkler Dawson. So that is my TBR and my Eyre of September announcement, and I really hope you take part in our little Eyre of September readathon. And if all you want to do is read Jane Eyre, that is great, and we would love to have you join us. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and if you want to see more,